Well, welcome everyone to our second episode of Transformation Decoded. Last week we came to you to say it is our intent to launch a regular, professionally produced podcast. But in light of what's going on in the world these days, we decided that we would have a softer launch and start coming to you through video, through audio during the summer so that we can keep you company during this time of social transformation. My name is Isabel Banerjee, and I'm one of the three founders of the concept Transformation Decoded. I'm here today with my partners, and I'll have them introduce themselves each briefly as well. And we've come together as cohorts and mastermind companions to help elevate each other's business and skills and just general enjoyment of life. We've come together in masterminds and in business groups, but we also came together in a book recently, and we'll share a little bit more about that later. So I'm Isabel Banerjee. I am the Chief Creative Officer at the Encore Catalyst. I am the Dean at the Encore Academy, and I have founded and grown multiple businesses. And I am proud to say that I am an evolutionary woman, and I'm transforming every day. And may I introduce to you Jackie.
Thanks, Isabel. I'm Jackie Ulmer, and I am so excited to be part of this project and learning more about you and getting to know more about all of you through this process. One of the things to me that's most exciting about Transformation Decoded is that not only in writing the book, but just in my journey over the last 26 plus years of being a business owner and going through transformations myself, because I like to say I'm a multi-passionatepreneur, I realized that this is what we do, especially as women. We're constantly in that process of transformation, from being young women to marrying in many cases, not all, starting families in many cases, not all, blending families, so many things that we do. So it's just great to be part of this project and working together in the way that women do best to collaborate on different transformation processes. I am the owner and creator of the Street Smart Wealth Academy, and am looking forward to sharing more about that, as well as all the different things that we have for you through Transformation Decoded.
Yay. And Lee.
Hi, I'm Lee Woodward, and I'm as well very excited to be here. And I like to think of myself as a recovering corporate executive who launched into the world of entrepreneurship. And I am the founder and owner of Woman in Disguise. And that is my passion project to help women rediscover and reconnect with their beauty. And I'm just really excited to be here. And of course, I love our little mastermind. It gets me going every day. So happy to be with the three of us whenever that can happen, even if it's via Zoom.
Well, and thank goodness for Zoom these days, because I'm sure anybody who's watching this on video can tell we are not together in the studio yet, that we are each sheltering in place in our home offices, some of us indoors and some of us outdoors in this lovely weather. But we are very united and very connected through the theme with Transformation Decoded, that we are catalysts for inspiration and success. So today it's my pleasure to talk a little bit about one of the contributing authors in the book, Who Am I Now? Feminine Wisdom, Unmasked and Uncensored. And today I'd love to have a conversation with Lee and engage Jackie as well about the chapter that she wrote in this book, which, for those of you who are curious, is available on Amazon. And Lee's chapter is extremely powerful. and let me say, in fairness to all the co-contributors in the book, we had 19 other women, so 20 including myself, sharing decades of incredible transformational stories and feminine wisdom. But very important and resonating strongly with me right now is Lee's chapter in the book, which is entitled Unapologetically Beautiful. And it's one of the spearhead pieces in the segment of the book called Love Thy Selfie. And as women who are doers and nurturers and get shit done gals, we often put ourselves at the back of the, oxygen mask last, so to speak. And also we take care of everybody else, but we don't care about some of our deep personal journeys, struggles, evolutions that we do. The word beauty is a word that's often uncomfortable for a woman to vocalize about herself. And that's why Lee's message was particularly important and very timely. And the chapter is very comprehensive and expansive, so I encourage you all to read it. But right now, today, to kick off our conversation, Lee, would you mind reading a brief excerpt from your chapter?
Absolutely. I had spent years convincing myself that feeling beautiful was not important. But beauty is a powerful force that should not be denied. Beauty is why we watch sunsets, seek out rainbows, and bask in the glow of a full moon. It is natural to want to feel beautiful, to be beautiful, and to be one with the force of beauty. I also believe that when we look in the mirror and don't see our beauty, we diminish our power to see ourselves and embrace our flaws as beautiful. It is powerful to see our wrinkles and appreciate all the laughs, tears, and smiles that etch the lines into our delicate skin, and to see stretch marks and celebrate that we brought life into this world. It is empowering to see our true selves and not look away from the reflection. In an interesting journey, learning to accept my gift and power of beauty. What I have learned so far is that beauty is something I can't define, but I know it when I see it and when I feel it. I have learned when it comes to my beauty, I am the beholder. Desiring beauty is not about vanity, it's about seeking your divine. Through my work, I have learned how amazing it feels to help a woman look in the mirror and truly love what she sees. I find the things that most often make us feel beautiful are tied to a memory or experience. I have learned when I feel beautiful, there is no room for shame, guilt, or judgment for myself or others. Most of all, I have learned we are all worthy of feeling beautiful.
Thank you very much, Lee. Um, your words really brought some emotions to the surface for me. And interesting, the first ones that came up in response to that were quite strong, powerful words. The word power in itself, you don't normally think of that in the same context as beauty, particularly if you were raised with the societal expectations of playing small and playing quiet and being demure and not standing out, but to own the power of our beauty in all of the facets that that means to us, that's empowering.
Yeah, I mean, and I think for me, beauty, I connected it. I mean, a point in my life, it really becomes, and I think for a lot of women, it becomes this external idea of what is beauty, and definitely equated with judgment, right? And you're either beautiful or you're not, or we think of beauty in terms of fixing flaws and doing this. And I guess this to me, I'm going to kind of differentiate that there's beauty out there, beauty products and beauty. And I love all that stuff, but I'm going to say that's little b beauty. What I'm really talking about is the capital B beauty, this power within our universe that is within us. And that when we can tap into that power, in particularly, I think for women, because it is a concept, an idea that carries so much baggage for us, that when we can let go of that baggage and not exert our energy on that negative baggage that's put with that word, man, it's a really powerful experience.
Yeah.
And so capital B beauty.
I really like that. Little b, capital B.
Yeah.
Jackie, what does it bring to your thoughts?
Well, I liked the dialogue that was started just about Lee, that you even said in terms of not really knowing. I'm trying to find it here. Not sure how to define it, but I think that so much of it is just a feeling that we get. It's that feeling of what is beauty. They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Certainly it is, but even what does that mean? So it's that feeling. It's more than the physical. But it's just like you said. That's where so many people focus on, myself included. For years, and then taking taking ownership of the ability to truly look oneself in the mirror, which I know is one of the exercises that you coach on, is to really look and see yourself without judgment and without the negativity that we so often attach to it. So I think it brings up a lot, like you said, Isabel. I think it's a topic that's so worth exploring. And I know for all three of us as mothers of daughters, it's
Yep.
very important to us as well to help be part of that conversation of shifting things away from so much of what society has put on us as the ideal physically for beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I the the expression, and I don't know who to give that credit to, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, really irritates me when I think about it in the context that that gives our power to an external source, as opposed to internally feeling good about who we are and how we look and how we show up in the world. So let's come up with a better quote than that one for ourselves. In fact, you say in your chapter that we've gotten such mixed messages throughout our lifetime as women of the Western world. I guess it's probably true around the world.
Yeah.
And that if we care too much about our appearance, we're considered vain or shallow or selfish. And as opposed to if we don't care about our appearance, then we're lazy, we're slovenly, we're disrespectful to the people that we're supposed to look good on the arm of, etc. And how how does that show up? How does that manifest for us as role models for who we are now as we continue to move through the decades, and as role models to our daughters and our granddaughters and our neighbors and friends?
Yeah, and I think for me, my experience working with women and how many women you can talk to, just, there are so many women, and I went through this phase where that weight of beauty, and for me, I struggled with eating disorders throughout most of my childhood into my 20s. And so that idea of that external judgment was a very dangerous thing for me. So I definitely
Yep.
kind of drew the borders up. And at some point in that process, and I think women do this across the board, we kind of start to decide that beauty's not important. I'm competent, I'm smart, I can do all these other things. Like that's a good enough thing because of that equating that judgment and just saying, okay, well, I'm just not going to go there. I'm not going to play that game.
Hmm.
And I think what that does is we forget that we're innately beautiful. And so kind of put the baby out with the bathwater, and that's not important. And that's like saying me that I'm not going to nurture it and I'm not going to take care of it. So on this journey, and so many women I know that we're all trying to be our best selves and really show up in the world. And how many of us can't look at our reflection, or we avoid looking at our reflection
Right.
because the little voice that just goes off, not good enough, not worthy, this flaw, that flaw, And to me, that's where that rub comes in, and where I feel so passionate about helping women, overcome that, because it's part of you. You're beautiful. And so if you can't claim it and own it, you're not being all of you, the best of you. And so, for me, there's going to be a lot of road to travel with, changing media, changing all that. And so this just kind of says, you know what, but right now, the one thing that each woman can do is we can decide to reclaim our beauty and to reconnect with it. And I think that's really, a powerful way for us to show our daughters and our granddaughters, as I have one coming, to really, hopefully, model a way how you can be different. Even though all this other stuff may not change, we can each choose to be different and show up differently, within that environment. So,
Love thy selfie.
yep.
So, Jackie, you do so much work around mindset and confidence in your businesses. And I'm sorry, the wind has just picked up out in my outdoor office. How do you see beauty and owning your power, or being uncomfortable with your beauty power, showing up with the women you work with?
Oh, it shows up all the time because I'm such a big part of what my business is coaching on social media. And social media means putting yourself out there to some extent. And ideally, with many of us, and certainly my ideal clients, we're solopreneurs. We wear all the hats. We are the business. We are the brand. We are the face behind our business, and the body behind it, and all the rest of it. And so it's important that we build that confidence to put ourselves out there through selfies, through videos, through all of those things that are so important for people to get to know you, build that know, like, and trust with your brand. And so one of the biggest things I always say is, listen, if we're sitting down at Starbucks, you look the same. You really do. And that's okay. That's a good thing. So getting over the fear of the cameras, like this optical or whatever, it's those things, and say, you want to show up on social media, you want to show up in your business, show up in those areas the same way that you show up in life, and release that hesitation that we come up with putting it all out there for the world to see. And I think it's because we feel like once we put something on social media, it's there forever. And if it's not absolutely perfect, then we're going to be shamed or judged or whatever. And the reality of it is, most of us are all just doing the best that we can with what we have to work with at the time, right? And so I know for me, I like it when somebody's authentic. I love on a video where somebody, pauses and reflects, because that's what we do in real life. And I think all of that through our confidence, I think, beauty takes on all of that. When we feel more confident, we feel more able to put ourselves out there, and more willing to put ourselves out there.
Yeah, I so agree with you wholeheartedly. I was thinking back on times in my lifetime when I'd had to stand on different stages and in different boardrooms, and to the extent that I felt confident and that I owned my power to be in that room, the concerns about everything else fell behind. It was the days that, either the inner critic or someone else had said something that made me feel less certain about my appearance or my preparation for a meeting, that I didn't deliver as much value then as I could have, because I was second guessing myself. Wait, this is a huge topic, and I think a topic that's so vitally important socially for all women, all generations, all nations. And I know that we're going to have a lot of opportunities as we go forward with Transformation Decoded's podcasts and events and programs to talk more about it and share how we have figured out how to decode some of these issues, and how we can share that with everybody in our community. So going forward, we're going to get back to you every week. Some weeks it'll be the three of us just kibitzing like this from our remote offices. In the future, hopefully not too distant future, we'll be together in person in a studio, and at which time we'll be inviting some other very important contributors to Transformation Decoded's platform and bring you the best of what we can. So before we sign, oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
just wanted
please.
to add just one quick thing to this discussion that I think is it's a word that has come up for me recently that I realized I never really placed a lot of value on, and that is self-compassion. So I've heard the word compassion before so often and understand what it means, I think, to be more compassionate to others. But when I really started studying self-compassion, that made a huge difference too. And I think that's an important part of the conversation as we go into this in self-acceptance and so many of those things around the concept of beauty, because I think it's important to acknowledge those times when we feel small, when we feel less than, and be compassionate to that person, that person who's us, and have that self-dialogue and that self-conversation about it. So I just wanted to pop that in there.
I'm glad you did, because you're right. First step is probably a lot of unlearning to becoming wiser women. And so to deprogram ourselves is part of what you're talking about. And I hope that very soon we'll be coming together to talk more about that and to incorporate the chapter that you wrote, which is so intricately entwined in this conversation about beauty. And just for anyone who's listening or watching, the heads up is that the chapter is entitled Comparanoia. And I have to be lying if you haven't experienced that in your life as a woman, right? So, before we sign off, maybe you'd share how everyone can find you and follow you out there in the big wide world. Lee?
Oh, you can certainly find me at the website womanindisguise.com and also on Facebook. And would love to have more women join Facebook community. And you can just search Woman in Disguise on Facebook and you'll find me.
And Jackie?
Yeah, absolutely. My website is streetsmartwealth.com. It's also jackieelmer.com. And then on Facebook, I have a Facebook group where I coach and train on all different topics around business building, the skills to pay the bills, as I like to call it. And you can just type in streetsmartwealthschool.com and it'll take you right to that Facebook group.
Awesome resources, both of you. Thank you. And I am Isabel Banerjee, the EncoreCatalyst.com or the EncoreAcademy.com. And I welcome you to join a Facebook community that is just growing, but it's growing quite rapidly, called Evolutionary Women Group by the Encore Catalyst. All right, any other parting words, my Trinity?
Everyone stay healthy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Until next time. Bye for now.
Bye.